stress may have some important cognitive benefits. In a new study, people who reported feeling no stress experienced better moods and were less likely to have chronic health conditions than people who did face stressors. However, the people who did not experience stress scored lower on cognition tests. They were also less likely to experience positive events and to give or receive emotional support than people who experienced stress. If accurate, these findings could complicate the seemingly one-sided relationship between stress and health by suggesting that stress may play a positive role in some elements of health and well-being. More than 75% of adults living in the United States report experiencing emotional or physical symptoms related to stress. A recent survey that the American Psychological Association Commission found that almost 78% of adults in the US are experiencing significant stress associated with the current pandemic. The body is equipped to handle small and occasional periods of stress, but researchers have linked excessive or chronic stress with a slew of negative health consequences, ranging from migraine headaches to cardiovascular problems. The assumption has also been that stress is bad, says senior author David Almeida, a professor of human development and family studies at Penn State. I took a step back and thought, what about the people who report never having stress? My previous work has focused on people who have higher versus lower levels of stress, but I had never questioned what it looks like if people experience no stress. Are they the healthiest of all? Stress is a healthy human response that most people experience from time to time. It can sometimes be helpful. Stress causes a release of epinephrine that makes it easier to do tasks and enhances performance and problem-solving skills. Stress can also act as a source of motivation in everyday situations, such as completing a project or taking a test. However, research shows that when stress becomes long-term, it can negatively affect every system in the body. Over time, chronic stress can become debilitating. It can also increase the risk of serious health complications such as obesity, depression, and heart disease. Many symptoms of stress are easy to ignore or mistake for symptoms of other common conditions. The symptoms of chronic stress include headaches, digestive problems, skin problems, misuse of alcohol or drugs, insomnia, heart palpitations, etc. While there is substantial proof of the negative health impact of stress, little research has assessed whether experiencing less stress actually improves health. According to the new study's findings, this connection may be more complicated than experts previously thought. Minor daily stressors might also be a marker of a busy and maybe full life. In this case, he says, having some stress is just an indicator that you're engaged in life. For example, on average, females and males have different mental and physical reactions. Some groups of people may also be more likely to have exposure to certain stressors. A 2020 study found that in the United States, some Black and Hispanic people may experience higher rates of stress than white people, primarily due to socioeconomic factors. Almeida says that the team's findings may offer new insight into how to interact with and process stress, which is a largely unavoidable event for most people. He notes that the findings suggest it may be better to change the response to stress than to try to avoid it outright. Stressors are events that create challenges in our lives, and I think experiencing stressors is part of life, says Almeida. I think what's important is how people respond to stress. Responding to a stressor by being upset and worried is more unhealthy than the number of stressors you encounter.